I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads go to Rome. Home. Okay, how you doing? So, this is this is answering the question, hey, so Angie, you're a Rastafarian, so does that mean you smoke cannabis? Not right now. I started smoking cannabis when I was 16 years old, and I've been stoned at least once, between 1 and 3, actually probably more often, like, I don't know how many times a day, but I've been stoned multiple times almost every day of my life. I've been stoned since I was a teenager. I was Mormon for 4 years. I didn't smoke then, but other than that, before that and after that, I've just been stoned. But right now, I'm not smoking. Transitioning female was a big thing for me. I'm 52. I started transitioning when I was like, I don't know, 42, 43. Started taking steps, but only learned about transgender people when I was like 40. I knew right away that I was transgender, but it still took a second and everything. So, like the first 3 years are a big deal on, with your second puberty or female puberty, and a lot of miracles happened, and it's just like my soul matured in a way that I didn't feel like I needed these things anymore. It's weird that later I got cirrhosis because. Really, I wasn't. Right from the beginning when I went on hormones, I haven't. I didn't drink heavy, and I was just having like 1 or 2 glasses of wine with dinner type of a thing, as part of my diet, But when I was in high school, I used to get drunk all the time. I would drink apple juice and fill it back up again with whiskey, and drink whiskey for my lunch at work at school. And I've lived a lot. I've done a lot of, a lot of drinking. I didn't let it affect my parenthood. My son has seen me drunk, but really, I wouldn't start drinking until after he goes to bed, after his bedtime. And I quit smoking cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes even younger. Like, I was like smoking cigarettes I found on the sidewalk and stuff when I was like 14, and when I was like 14, and I was a big Van Halen fan, so I started smoking Marlboro Reds. That's what the kids smoke, and then I found out Eddie Van Halen smokes Camels, but I never could prove exactly what kind of cigarette he smoked. But then I started smoking Camels and blah blah blah. But then when my son, right before my son was born, I quit smoking tobacco, cold turkey. I didn't want to be a cigarette smoking parent. I've been very serious about not letting these things affect my son. But as far as smoking cannabis has always been a completely different thing. Like most Rastas get mad if you roll cannabis up with cigarettes and alcohol and drugs and call it a drug, and it's upsetting, because to us it's not like that. Like one thing, people that have smoked very little, they're like, oh, wow, I got so stoned. I can't believe you get stoned all the time. But when you smoke cannabis 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day for 35 years, it becomes, it's more like coffee, like you do get stoned, but it's more like your cup of coffee in the morning, you're stoned, but not like you were when you were a teenager, You're safe behind the wheel. You still can go to work, though my recommendation is that to not get stoned at work, really. And that was something that took a lot of years for me to learn. I used to get stoned at work. I'd bring cannabis. I get stoned during lunch. I get stoned right when I get off the clock, and I could just always had to be stoned. But my first breakthrough with cannabis was when I realized that it's a waste of money to smoke at work. Why are you paying money to be stoned at work? Work is where you make money. It's just not a fun place to have a buzz. And if you've been smoking cannabis all day, you don't get a very good buzz at the end of the day because you're already stoned. But if you don't smoke at work, then when you get home you can smoke, and then you really get stoned and you have fun. It's healthier because it's more moderate. Too much of anything's a bad thing. It's a better choice than, like, like if it wasn't for cannabis, a person might drink more and use more dangerous drugs. It's a replacement for a lot of bad choices and even medications and a lot of things. But just because it's a good thing doesn't mean that you can do too much of it and make it a bad thing. So I think personally, I think smoking at work is a bad idea. I really discourage it. Um, the idea of 4:20 is really early in the morning. If you have to be at work at like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, get up at 4 o'clock or 4:20. Get up really, really early. A buzz, when you smoke all the time, a buzz lasts about 3 or 4 hours. So if you get up 4 hours before you have to be there and just wake and bake, you get up and get stoned right away. Your buzz fizzes out right when you get there. And but I still wouldn't even do that. I would still just wait till you get home. And then you roughly get home at about 4:20. The 4:20 concept's a good idea. Get stoned way before you have to be to work, so you're not stoned when you get to work, and then get stoned right when you get home. So then you're stoned after work, and then it doesn't have to affect your job. But personally, I think you should just smoke after work. And the thing about cannabis is it really improves your sex life. So like if you have a boyfriend or married or whatever, uh, like, or maybe you're an artist. I mean, there's other reasons, like you get stoned right when you get home, and then maybe right after everything's done and you go to bed, you and your boyfriend might smoke again because you have sex at night or something. But or maybe you're a musician, and like for me, like when I'm writing an album and recording an album, I smoke a lot more cannabis. When I'm doing or writing a book, or when I'm doing something super creative, I do smoke more of it and more often. So there's a lot of variables. But I do like the Bob Dylan song. Everybody must get stoned. I do recommend that everybody get stoned. It's a plant that God gave us, and it has a message that's special for everyone. Some people say, like, I don't like how it makes me paranoid around people. Then don't smoke it around people. That's like what I'm saying with your job. Like there's a time and a place for everything under heaven. Like maybe your time is when you're home. Just like, or maybe it's when you're going on a hike or whatever, or going on a walk after work, or only when you're having sex, or who knows what, you just find your little thing. But really the main thing is I'm really happy that I don't drink alcohol anymore. Cheers. It's a non-alcoholic Guinness. But I I don't miss drinking alcohol. I don't miss when you drink too much and the room spins and you're sick all day long the next day, and all the money you waste, and all the times you make a fool of yourself, and just all the huge prices you pay, and it's so bad for you. It almost killed me. You know, Alcohol is such a dumb idea, and I don't miss it. The only thing I really miss is just the taste of beer. My favorite beer was Stella Artois. Stella Artois makes a non-alcoholic beer. I would like to get me some. Guinness was one of my favorites too. I think it's fun to drink a beer that matches your last name. My last name is French Canadian, so I like to drink Stella Artois because it's French. But it also tastes really good. But yeah, I will smoke again. So I kind of outgrew the need for it, and right now I'm not smoking because I just, I don't want to. I'm into just my life and living my life and my job and things. And I just don't want to be spending the money on it and to be endangering losing my job. Jobs don't usually drug test you unless they have a reason to, But it's just not what I'm into. But just for the record, I will smoke again. I wouldn't want Babylon to think. I wouldn't want my name to be stamped on the idea that I matured and then never needed to smoke again. I don't need to smoke again, but I will smoke again just to be an asshole. Just to say fuck you, Babylon. I'll do whatever I want, and also to get the meditation. Since I stopped smoking, I haven't done very many of like the guided meditations, and like I do more. I read tarot cards more. I do guided meditations more. I do more spiritual things when I smoke. There is a spiritual price to pay when you don't smoke. Have you ever noticed people that never smoke? They believe everything. They trust the government. They think all police officers are good people, and they just they don't question anything. They believe the Bible's the Word of God and everything. Cannabis is good because it teaches you to question things, and it exposes some of the facade of everything. So I really recommend people smoke cannabis. In Rasta, it's a conversion tool. You might smoke it, especially when you're converting and trying to understand the lifestyle, the I livity, your own kind of ital. But after a while, the conversion thing is it's like a little thing that Rastas draw, and right here it says cannabis, and then cannabis takes you to Haile Selassie. Then Haile Selassie takes you to your old religion, or Haile Selassie takes you to your new religion. Your new religion takes you back to your old religion. Your old religion takes you back to cannabis. Cannabis takes you to Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie takes you to your new religion. Your new religion takes you to your old religion. Your old religion brings you back to cannabis. It's like that's the conversion, the Rasta conversion wheel. And when you're doing that number, but after a while you do have the message. You get the idea. Not all Rastas. Some Rastas don't believe in smoking cannabis at all. You don't have to smoke cannabis. A person should not assume just because I have dreadlocks and I'm a Rasta. That doesn't mean you should assume that I'm a Rastafarian. I've been arrested for smoke. Once I got pulled over for smoking cannabis, and the officer said I was a new Rasta. I was an idiot. I was naive. The officer said, "Have you been smoking cannabis?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's okay. I'm a Rastafarian," and I got arrested. So my police record says I'm a known Rastafarian. I've done time for being a Rastafarian. Almost lost my son. It was a big, dramatic, horrible thing. Yeah, it's not a First Amendment right, you guys. It should be. If the First Amendment was a real thing, it would be. It's the original religion. But anyway, I don't even really drink non-alcoholic beer very often. Right now I'm starting to feel kind of guilty. Like, are you sure? I mean, it does have 0.5% alcohol. That's some alcohol. Are you sure you want to? That's not good.